Here.
Commissioner Doss?
Here.
Commissioner Patton?
Here.
Mayor Butler?
Here, I've been in discussion with our sound technician about there being no sound on the cable with video of the council meeting. And I'm informed that you have to speak into the microphone. So let's try that tonight and see what happens. Okay, now see, you blew, and then you backed off, and that won't get it. You've gotta stay close.
This is pretty high-tech stuff, Mayor.
I know, and you've gotta lean forward. You know, this is a progressive outfit, so you ought to be leaning forward anyhow.
So why don't you get us an earpiece and a mic? Did everybody hear him?
We discussed that.
Okay, having said that, let's start all over. Should we call the roll? Better call the roll, make sure everybody's here.
We did.
We did.
Yeah.
And everybody answered present. Okay. What about the minutes of the meeting of March the 9th? Any addition or correction? Okay, if not, they will be approved. Special meeting of March the 16th. Any addition or correction? Okay, if not, they will be approved.
Yeah, after we get done all of that.
Okay, what do we got here? Jim, do you have something?
Well, you said that, you would all talk it over regarding what was going on next door. Nobody's called me in the last couple of weeks, so I thought I'd have to come back to the council meeting to find out what's going on. I will say that they've cleaned up the back pretty good over there at the appliance wizard, and it looks pretty straight down.
Better come up to the mic, Jim.
Talk into the mic, Jim.
Okay. What I was saying is that, I was here a couple of weeks ago, and I discussed the problems I was having, people throwing trash and rocks in our yard, my mother's yard and all. And, I'm still having problems with them trashing my yard, but they've cleaned up the back, and, it looks pretty good back there, which I appreciate. So apparently somebody said something to them, I would think. But, my yard in the front's still being trashed, and in the back it's being trashed. And, every time I walk around the block, I believe that Derek Oliver is the one that gets upset with me because he lives around the block and his dogs bark. But every time I walk around the block, my yard's trashed. I can't even leave the house with me and my mother without my yard being trashed now, so there's no people around to see it, you know.
Now, when you say trashed, can you define trashed for me?
Well, you know, right now it's toilet paper, like tissue paper, and little pieces of things like straw paper, and, it's, you know, things, for instance, that are placed on our front porch. Last night, this morning I woke up and our lawn's furniture was pushed around. So, I mean, people are on our property that aren't supposed to be on our property. That's criminal trespass.
Wind wouldn't have blown your furniture around any?
No, there's not that much wind. It was blowing from the north. I mean, it was blowing from the north. The wind's been blowing from the south, and that was pushed up from towards the south. So, those kinds of things.
You have no idea who did that?
No, I don't. I just have an idea of who I've seen in my yard at night before, you know. I've seen that Derek Oliver do that kind of stuff. I didn't see him do it last night. But, now I think they've got a younger man working there. They're manipulating because the other day I drove around the back and he took off running real quick into the appliance wizard. And, there hadn't been a problem with anything that morning, but when I went out later to look around in the back, there was a handful of rocks up near the trash cans. So I don't know if he's guilty of doing that or not, but I mean, he was acting suspicious by running really quick when he saw me. I don't even know the guy. He's just recently been hired there. I've had things in the past, for instance, I've had the police out there several times. I talked to this sergeant before about vines, ivy growing up my tree being pulled down. Now it's all pulled down completely. And of course, he said you need to call a horticulturist over something like that, not wasting time in the police department for the most part, which it is kind of a waste of time for the police department, and I understand that. And they did put cameras up for 6 months. T.J. Warren did. He's an investigator. And then, as I mentioned before, Carl Orlovich said, well, Marion Police Department put the cameras up and they didn't find anything. And I thought, well, how would they know that situation unless T.J. Warren or Don Dantini would tell them?
Have you ever seen anybody doing these things?
Yes, I have.
How many times?
Not very many times. I haven't seen very many times. I can't
And
catch it.
who have you seen?
I've
do
seen,
these?
there was a guy by the name of James Faulkner Jr. that was working there. He had a criminal history, and I think that he's not a registered sex offender, I think. But he was working with him for a while, and a few months back, he got fired. But I saw him running over glass in the backyard and park, and I went over to talk to Carl about it, and I could go over there and talk to him. They won't let me now. But I talked to Carl about it, or started to, and he said, Carl's not here, can I help you? So I went to the back and I said, yeah, you see this? Because it rained that night and that glass had fallen out of the trash cans, and I picked up all the trash, and I apparently missed that. But it rained that night, and there was a tar track going right over it because the ground was soft, and it was parked up in the.
Did you see this guy driving?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
vehicle? You
In that
actually
morning, yeah, I saw it that morning.
You actually saw
I
him
saw
drive, you actually saw him drive into your yard?
And drive over the glass that morning. So I went back and I said to him, I said, you see those tracks? He said, yeah. I said, you see that glass? He said, yeah. I said, you see that car? I said, that's the car that did it. He says, you must be crazy.
Okay, is this the only time you've seen anybody do it?
No, I also saw him, when he was leaving it, this James Gage.
The same guy?
Same guy.
Okay, but he was not your neighbor?
No, but he was.
Yeah, but he no longer works for them. How
No.
long has he been gone?
Oh, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 months.
Okay, so at this point in time, you have no idea who has been trashing your property?
Well,
You haven't seen anybody except this guy who was discharged, is
Right.
that right?
And I've also seen Derek Oliver in the past put trash at the edge of the property to blow in our yard. after I
But wait a
mowed the yard.
minute, now wait a minute. He didn't throw it on your property. You say the wind blew it on your property.
Well, I saw him the other day taking the sign. I had Doug Patton give me the sign, said, sorry, we're sold, or something like that. I saw him drop that, over there by my place,
Did he drop it on your property?
on my property.
And who was it that did that?
Derek Oliver.
Okay, is he your neighbor?
Well, yes,
Well, is he your neighbor or not?
he works at the appliance,
Okay.
and he is a neighbor.
Now, wait a minute.
He's
Just
both.
because he works there doesn't make him your neighbor.
No, wait a minute, you're not listening to me. He works at the appliance wizard.
Okay.
Carl Orlovich is the owner of the appliance wizard.
Okay.
Okay, my mom and I live at
We
1205
know where you live.
and 1207. Now, 1213 down the street is where Derek Oliver lives.
Okay, but that's not the appliance people.
Yes, he is the appliance
Yeah,
people.
he works for him.
I
He
know
works
he
for
works for him, but he's trying to say the appliance people are the ones who are trashing his yard, and he's never seen them trash it.
Yes, I have seen him trash
I
it.
think what he's saying is, as an employee of the Appliance Wizard, he's
I
trashing
know
his
what
yard.
he's saying, and.
He walks up and down 4 times a day down the front walk.
Yeah,
And I saw him this was after the meeting that we had a couple weeks ago, walk down the front walk and drop a rock behind his back,
how big a rock?
just a small rock, just something to irritate.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not being physically hurt or beat up, but they have threatened me in the past.
Jim, do they have dumpsters?
They have some dumpsters and now they're clean, they haven't been cleaned, but now they're cleaning them because apparently somebody has said something to them.
Yeah, do they close the lids on them?
Well, when they're full, they can't close the lids.
Well, that, I mean,
And
as
that's
much
stuff-
as anything else, that could be a problem if they don't have them dumped in a timely manner, and they fill up, and can't close the lid, any wind could.
Right, and that's
blow the
happened
trash
too,
out.
that's happened a lot. In fact,
So,
I've had the police out there over that situation, and they just took it back to the dumpster because they wouldn't let me go back over there.
Okay, having said all that, Jim, what do you want from the city council?
I just wanted to stop. I mean, my goodness, you know, apparently, I don't know if you've talked to them or not, because
Yes, I know, I personally talked to them, they came by the office, and I talked to them, and they assured me that they were not gonna do anything that would trash your property.
well, it's not Carl Orlovich, the owner, that's the problem. It's this Derek A. Oliver. He's got an obsession with it.
Well, maybe we need to talk to this fellow Oliver, but that's all you're interested in, is that right?
Well, for the most part. I mean, there are other things that I could talk about. Like, for instance, there's a lot of trash over here in the creeks next to the Washington School.
Well, that,
Things like
it's
that.
a horse of another color, let's just deal with the
a
problem
lot of
that
that
you've got.
comes from other areas.
Well, I just have asked God to kind of guide and direct me in this situation and talk about things.
Yeah.
I am concerned, you know, I don't know if I should go on with this or not.
Okay, well, we appreciate you coming by, Jim, and we'll, see if we can't catch up with Mr. Oliver, because he apparently is the one who's causing you the most trouble at this point in time.
At this point in time, yes.
Okay,
And maybe this other kid that he's manipulating into doing this other stuff.
well, okay, we'll see who's being manipulated, so we'll see what we can do.
Okay,
All
thank
right,
you.
thank you. Okay, anyone else now?
What's the last one?
Verizon.
Huh?
They're with Verizon. They're with Verizon.
They're with Verizon.
Mm-hmm. They're on the agenda.
Oh, you mean Verizon, is that
That's our,
anything to do with telephone,
yes,
cell phones,
that's right.
wireless operations?
That's right.
Oh, well, okay, then they don't wanna talk now, they wanna go into executive session. is
No.
that right?
No, if you want them to talk now, they can.
Yeah.
Well, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys for having us here today. We're just basically here, we're really pleased to announce that you guys' partnership with us on building your guys' private network, with Verizon. We'll just kind of touch on a little bit of what the private network does. So by establishing a private network from Verizon Wireless, it's a great solution for any city, organization, or business, to extend the reach of their internal networks while providing enhanced security and performance. Essentially, it allows organization like yourself to manage its wireless devices as access to its own internal network, just like it does with other computing assets. So a good example of that would be a laptop out in the field with an air card would be the same experience and same security as it would if it was plugged directly here in the office. So really providing you guys with the performance and the security on your mobile devices while you guys are out in the field. Private network access is available wherever there is Verizon wireless coverage. It does operate on our Verizon's 4G LTE network as well. This means the organization's private network is backed by our coverage, speed, and reliability of Verizon Wireless. So we just wanted to say thank you for that partnership, and anything we can do for you in the future, feel free to reach out to us.
Just one question, how much does it cost?
Verizon, we work individually with each customer on cost, and due to customer privacy, we don't relinquish those costs.
Okay, and you consider the city a customer?
Yes.
Okay, so, we will need to have a confidential conversation to find out what we're paying, is that right?
That would be best, yes.
Okay,
I got you.
I was hoping you'd say that there's no charge, but, obviously that's not the case. Well, we do appreciate it, we thank you so much.
Thank you, I'd be more than happy to talk to you afterwards.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? All right. What's this about the full-time police dispatcher?
We have just motion is that we replace him with one of our part-time, long-time dispatchers. And also, since he will be gone, we need to replace his, position as a part-time dispatcher.
Do you have names for these
I have a
people?
name for the one that's resigning, his name is something Vaughn, that's going to Johnson County, and then we have a part-time dispatcher by the name of Withers that will take his place.
Perhaps Chief Tom Benny can bring us up to speed.
Yeah, Justin Vaughn's last day was March 21st. He took over, like Commissioner Rick said, as 911 coordinator for Johnson County. So Zane Withers will move up into his full-time spot, and then we need to replace the 2 part-time guys.
I didn't mention that one of our part-timers is taking a job in St. Louis, so we'll be absent 2 part-time dispatchers.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad you spoke up, Chief, because otherwise we'd only had
I'd only
one
get one.
we were talking about, so. Okay, so it's your motion then,
Yes, sir, that we make these replacements.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
Call roll.
Commissioner Ricks?
Yay.
Commissioner Vanilla?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Mayor Butler?
Yay. Okay.
Also, Mayor, if I may, we've done all this talking about our new software program, the ID Networks program, and our computers, the mobile computing. Our guys are here this week from ID Networks, training our department, and we're going to hopefully go live next Monday. So we brought Doug and Corey from ID Networks up to introduce them to the council in case you had any questions.
Well, why don't you come up to the mic here so we can get acquainted?
My pleasure, thank you for having us. And I'll speak into the microphone for you.
Yeah, please.
Would you like to know a little bit about the program that we're doing for the?
Well, I'd say since we're gonna get involved, it would be nice if we knew a little bit about it.
I'll be glad to do that for you. We've been working with them for several months now to put the system together. The parts that we're delivering are the computer-aided dispatch. So when you call 911 and they locate where you're calling from, whether or not there's history at the location, whether there's any alerts at the location, whether there's barking dogs or, alerts on that the officers or first responders should be aware of, it'll pop right up on their screen for them. In addition to that, as I'm sure you're well aware, you've purchased some new computers for the cars, not from ID Networks, but from another source, so that the officers will have more at their fingertips as they're responding as well. They'll have maps that the county GIS department has been working on with us long and hard. They're also gonna be able to do their report writing, more so from the car than they've ever been able to do before. They'll have access to the state and FBI databases, so that when they pull a vehicle over, they'll be able to run the license plate and know whether that person has history without even having to do so over the radio. And they're also gonna be using our records management system to keep better track of the things they put into the system, such as crash reports, citations, and incident reports.
Okay, suppose they get a call to 701 South Buchanan. How will the officer know whether or not there's been a prior incident at that address?
Based on that address, we've converted all the old systems data. We spent a great deal of trying to make it as perfect as possible, because the data that was put into the system previously didn't count on the addresses in the map. It counted on a geo file. It was much harder to maintain the old system. So we've done the best we could to perfect the old records, so that when they go to our system next Monday, we'll be able to pull up the calls from the old system in our system, and they will have history for all those locations that were verifiable.
And that's all gonna be in the computer system?
It is already, so when we start our training classes tomorrow, they'll be seeing their old records in our system.
Boy, that's,
So does this also incorporate into it the location of the police cars at any one moment in the city of Marion?
It does, we will be doing that, because they just purchased new equipment, we're gonna be phasing in that part of it, yes, sir. They will be able to see each other, they'll know where their backup is, how far they are away, they'll know where the other units are, and, in a meeting with the chief tonight, we were talking about traffic stops and how we're gonna handle that specific issue of it, so that all the other officers have awareness of when those events are happening, so that they can, help their partners.
that's
do what
fantastic.
does this take our existing GPS systems that we had on our car, or does that antiquate them, or what's that do?
It's different.
No, it's different. We still, the benefit of the other GPS system on the cars is with that GPS system, we can, set up alerts, so if they go over a certain speed, it sends me an alert. If they go out of the county, it sends me an alert. Or if I can run reports like to see if somebody is sitting somewhere too long. I can also run reports to show me where they've driven the entire night of their shift. So that's the benefit of having that.
So what
The
this
per-
does then is lets us know where the officers are. We won't necessarily know what they're doing if they're asleep, but we'll know where they are.
Well, that's the one I was just talking about, that we actually got, two different, functions here.
Yeah, ours,
You know,
I think the best way I can articulate the difference between the two ABL systems is ours is meant for real-time, officer safety purposes. So if the officer has a problem, he can literally hit one button for an emergency, and all the surrounding vehicles will know exactly where he is, and they'll be able to respond to him if he needs help. The system that you have is meant for long-term tracking. If the officer was sitting there doing nothing, if the officer goes above a certain speed and things like that, we're showing it in real time, but we wouldn't have it for auditing purposes. We wouldn't have those reports that the chief is talking about.
Well, let me ask you this, what about, if the officer is mobile in pursuit, foot pursuit, is there a device that he has on him that, or?
Not at the
No.
moment.
No.
We're not at the moment. We're looking into those sort of things. We're phasing some of those things in.
I would think that would be as equally important
Right.
as to know the local, I mean, you may know a perimeter of where he's at.
Yeah, there's a lot more stuff I wanna buy yet.
Did I just walk myself into that one?
It's all right.
I appreciate it,
You
Aaron.
opened the door for that.
I would like to say this, though, that the system that you guys are purchasing does have those type of capabilities. You
Yeah.
just need the devices and the implementation.
No, I mean, I think, that is as equally important as knowing where our squad cars are.
This will give the guys also the ability to do a lot of reports from their squad cars instead of having to come back to the station all the time. It gives them the mobile accessibility from their squad cars, which is something that we've never had. So it keeps them out in the field a whole lot longer than being at the station. So the increase in public safety is phenomenal because you're keeping your officer out in the field at all times.
Keeping your officer out there in the public where the public can see him is as important too, so.
That's right.
Sounds real good. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
much. Yes, sir. Okay, who has the CASA?
But I think this is something that we all got in our boxes a couple of weeks ago. This is something that we do on an annual basis. Actually, it comes out of your public affairs, budget.
How much are we talking about?
$2,000.
And we've done this.
We've done this in the past, just like we did hands and hope and stuff like that, so it's my motion to donate $2,000 to CASA. Second.
Which is court-appointed special advocate. Okay, the motion made and seconded. Call the roll.
Commissioner Ricks?
Yay.
Commissioner Manella?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Mayor Butler?
Yay. Okay, what's this about the intersection of Madison and College Street?
I've had a request from the street department to make that a four-way stop.
Why?
As you pass the mailboxes here on Madison going south, go to college, there's a stop sign. College Street has no stop sign from Virginia,
From Virginia to Market.
and that makes a pretty good racetrack. I think we had an incident there during the snow removal. Again, I was requested to put it, I have no problem putting a stop sign there. People pull out from the mailboxes and just, they don't stop.
There's been accidents down there, Jay, several times. I know at the
You
ice,
don't show any record.
during the snow, well, I know one, maybe not been reported, but I was aware of one personally that's it. And then the snowstorm, there was a snowplow and a car collided. We had an accident report there. And,
Whose fault fault was that?
Well, it obviously wasn't the streets department, sure.
Oh, no, it wasn't our person.
No, I don't think it was,
The person had
But,
that.
the safety man, Brian Fisher, would like to have it, and our insurance, people have suggested that it become a four-way stop, so that's where I gave the recommendation to Jay, and it'll be your call.
Okay, one of you makes the motion,
I'll
It
second
doesn't
it.
have
and
to be-
seconds, call roll.
Doesn't have to, is it in ordinance form? Doesn't have to be in ordinance form?
Well, it really should be, but we can go on record now what our intention is.
You will, we can call it ordinance 324.
Yeah, we'll bring it back around, then we'll have to be reminded to grant the ordinance on that.
3248.
So,
Call it vote. Commissioner Ricks?
Yay.
Commissioner Vanilla?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Mayor Butler?
yay. Next item has to do with the dump truck snowplow for the cemetery department. I think that should be tabled.
Well, maybe we do it this way, Bob, this truck is in next year's budget, we have the money. What we do is like to solicit, bids, so that we can get this ordered ahead of time, so we'll have it by the summer work, which we need, so,
You don't need a snowplow this summer, do you?
no, we'll have it ready to go next year. We only got 15 in town right now, we're gonna add 2 more, so we'll have 70 snowplows.
For the
But,
cemetery department, you want 2 snowplows.
No.
How many you got now?
No, we have, we only have none right now at the cemetery. We have to borrow them. But,
Global warming will affect
Well, anyhow, we're not gonna act on it tonight.
I like to have the authority to solicit bids for that.
So that's not the same thing as authorizing purchase,
No,
so
no,
sure,
no.
I don't see the problem with that.
No, I just like council authority to solicit bids.
Okay,
That's it.
all right,
So you need a
what
motion?
about the
You need a motion on
part-time?
that, Bob? You want a motion or just, I'll make the motion if you need it.
I'll send it.
Okay, call roll.
Commissioner Ricks?
Yay.
Commissioner Vanilla?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Mayor Butler?
Yay. Okay, what's the part-time employees with Hub, what's that about?
What's the?
We need to take that to executive session.
Executive session?
Executive session.
6 and 7,
All right,
Yes.
both 6 and 7?
yeah,
No, just 7. We don't have
Okay.
anybody for 6.
both have to do with employees at the Hub.
We don't have any for 6.
And now,
No, we do not.
Okay, we don't have anything for number 6 right now. We have,
yeah, well, 6 and 7 we'll pass for the time being, and we've taken care of the Verizon. Okay, anybody know about the,
number 9. Karen?
It's not me. That's Ameren.
Oh, Amber.
Ameren?
Last thing on the out of the list.
Okay, I don't see anybody here from Ameren.
You do have something in your packet.
Yes.
Yeah, we have this right here.
You might want to,
Okay, well, Keith Martin, who is Director of Energy Efficiency for Ameren, writes, I am pleased to inform you the City of Marion is being recognized as the most progressive city by Ameren, Illinois, for the efforts of businesses in your community to reduce energy consumption and foster an environment of sustainability. Marion is receiving this award because 34 area businesses completed 74 energy efficiency projects between June 1, 2013 and May 31, 2014, generating over $100,000 in annual energy savings. Much of this energy saving work was performed by a growing network of local contractors and retailers, many of whom added new workers to their payrolls to meet the demand Right, comments to the contrary, Marion is a progressive city.
So we did better in this than we did in our transparency, cause, you know,
Oh, yeah, we got an ad for.
we got an F from Southern Illinois.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So-
that's too bad.
Yeah.
That F stands for fudge.
They're fabulous.
Okay. All right, that'll take care of that. April 14th of December, gee whiz, that's the day before tax day. Boy, you have to pay taxes. If you learn anything, you better.
Yeah.
Once again, Claire and Ziegler have contributed, engineering on a couple of different, projects. One, the value of $218.50, and the other $540. And we thank Claire Ziegler and Ziegler Engineering and commend you for your philanthropy. We need it.
Good partners for the city.
And now, has there been any publicity about the e-waste drive?
There has. It's, this Saturday and, it's at from 9 AM to 12 PM, or maybe even a little bit later at the, training center on Boulevard. This is an opportunity, and as far as I know, you can help me out here, John, if you know of any. I don't know of another municipality that's ever, put this on. It's, you know, we've tried for months to do this, and then we finally found somebody that had the EPA permit to do this, so, they're, you know, they'll basically take any electronics except old TVs like some of you guys got, you know, and,
Yeah, they will accept, they're not going to accept, TVs, console TVs, projection TVs, radioactive materials, hazardous, materials like oil, antifreeze, paint, non-electronics. They won't take any tires, wood, asbestos, office waste, furniture, anything of that sort, no flammable materials. No pesticides, oil filters, airbags, lead, mercury switchers, fluorescent lights. And, explosives, no firearms or ammunition. So it's obvious that it's a rather narrow scope, but it's,
No,
no,
it's not.
it's not either. I mean,
You'll
like-
take all motors,
it covers a multitude of things that we
Yeah,
will
but-
be accepting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Now, one thing that, I'm gonna work on in the future is, and the only one I know that's around, and they just have it one weekend, one Saturday, a year in Jackson County, and that's for people to take their paint cans and their oil and stuff like that. That's the next thing that we need to try to do. But I mean, I think this is, you know, we've had calls from all over saying, you know, appreciate that, you know, people can get rid of their own computers and toasters and air conditioners and things like that, you know, they haven't before, but, you know, we're gonna knock this off Saturday, and hopefully that it's successful, and we'll try, if it is, we'll try to make this maybe a biannual event, and then, look into, you know, maybe, getting something for the disposing of paints and oils
The
and things
county
like that.
has done that on occasion, haven't they?
The county does your normal household goods and stuff like that. Mattresses or whatever you want to throw away, but, you know, they,
No,
No,
this is
they won't.
recycled stuff.
Yeah,
This is
but-
recycling, it's not
Yeah.
disposing of trash.
and it's gonna cost us $650, but we ought to be able to make enough back off of what they sell to cover the cost, but it's,
They will
it's-
also accept appliances, right, Anthony,
Yes.
as you said, refrigerator, washer, dryers,
right,
they'll accept that.
yes.
Hey, do we have any volunteers?
Since you asked, yes, we have Boy Scout troop a while back to go and volunteer their services for little community service. And, the street department will arrange to have some, people up there to help unload the heavy, pieces and, help unload and load back into the trash. So the little old ladies come in with their toasters and their microwave, we'll have someone there to unload for them, so they won't have to get out of the car. So we're looking forward to a big turnout, and I think it's a big thing that Anthony and I put together, and I appreciate his efforts on it.
Very good. Okay, now, we've had, on the agenda for quite some time, demolition of the commercial brick building located at 111 North Madison Street. We received a couple of bids for that, so, for the demolition. So you guys open them up, let's see what we've got.
Did we find out about the walls on the?
Well, now, after we open the bids, we'll rely on the city attorney for his advice. What do you got,
This one is from McVicker Excavating, demolish and remove building located at 111 North Madison, concrete floor to remain in place, haul all debris to an EPA-approved landfill, not included utility disconnects, asbestos inspection and removal, and 10-day EPA notification. Total bid $19,850.
$19,850. Okay, what do you got?
One from Neat Cut, tear down commercial building at 111 North Madison, tear down building and walls and take to EPA approved landfill. All bricks down to building pad, 26,500.
Okay, now, there's been some concern that, there might be a common wall with one of the neighboring buildings. And just, how the contractor will handle that. So Steve, you've looked into this, I think, could you tell us,
And my suggestion is any bid that you are going to accept, before you accept it, you want to require them to send you proof of insurance. You want to know the dollar amount, and I want to see the policy.
yeah, okay,
I don't want just a declaration sheet, I want the policy.
want to see the policy. All right, that makes sense. Did you hear that?
Do they have an opinion on the party wall, or have they said anything about it?
Well, neither one of them said anything about
Any
it.
discussion?
Well, Jim's not here, is he?
No.
I'm assuming that they both have looked at this building before making a bid. I mean,
Well,
can we assume that?
Nobody's looked at mine.
they may have, but what I don't want to have happen is a lot of these commercial policies have insurance, but they will only pay under certain circumstances and may not pay for an undertaking like this. I've been down this road before. Johnson City did a demolition with a contractor, and they tore down one building only to have next door fall as well.
Yeah,
Was not covered.
yeah,
It's a very sensitive
Yeah.
undertaking, so,
Well, you know, in as much as anything is the age of the building and the condition of the bricks themselves. So, mortar's gone and everything, so, you know, I would hope that both of them have, looked at this building and this particular wall, before they made their bid, so we're getting closer, but,
yeah,
I got
and that needs to be spelled out, really.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Cause I
Okay.
kinda think there's a party wall there, I used to own that, one of those buildings.
I do too. I believe that is part of it.
I don't think there's much doubt about that. Okay, so, the motion is we accept the, McVicker bid subject to, proof of insurance and the understanding that there is a party wall probably.
After all those requirements are fulfilled, we will then award a contract and give a notice to proceed.
Yes.
And
So moved.
they have to provide,
Motion made.
they have to provide the policy to the city.
Yeah,
Just a minute, he's underlined here, not included.
No, I did that, Jay.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure
It
that we,
needs to be,
yeah.
because there's no asbestos inspection, and neither did
cents in worth here, whether you wanna hear it or not. Usually in old buildings like that, there is a very high probability of asbestos in there. It's my opinion that we do not move or proceed forward until we have that answer, and that will involve testing, which will be an expense to the city, so. we need to
Well, I
be
mean,
very-
that's,
I don't think we have a choice.
I think it's very simple. We can call Freeman Environmentals and ask them to look at the building, and, I agree with you. Of course, I don't know if that needs to be an amendment to the
Yeah,
original
that's right.
motion, but,
That motion's then subject to the asbestos consideration.
yeah, I'll make that amendment to that motion.
Second.
Okay, now, call the roll.
Okay, Commissioner Goss made the motion, Commissioner Renalla made the amendment, but I still need a
Second,
second.
Goss.
Goss seconded the amendment.
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Ricks?
Yay.
Commissioner Renalla?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yeah.
Mayor Butler?
Yay. Okay. You have anything, say, on that, Anthony?
I make a motion to pay the monthly bills as funds become available.
Second.
Call roll.
Commissioner Ricks?
Yay.
Commissioner Renalla?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Mayor Butler?
Yay.
Make,
Budget too, we need to set a date.
We'll get to that after we take care of the
you
consent
messed,
agenda.
Okay.
you messed up my motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm fine. Look, it's
I
Steve's
make a
fault.
motion to pay the consent agenda.
Second.
Call roll.
Commissioner Ricks?
Yay.
Commissioner Renalla?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Mayor Butler?
Yay.
And
Now talk about the budget.
And now our treasurer has the budget for 2015-16
Proposed.
proposed,
Yeah.
yes.
Preliminary.
All right, proposed preliminary.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Budget, and we need to set a date to sit down and look at it as a council. He's met with every superintendent, some things have been trimmed, we're very close, we're still a little bit deficit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Last week, he teases the mayor and us and tells us that we have a windfall this year. And then he comes in today laughing, he goes, I was just kidding you, we made a little mistake. We got just a little bit of a deficit, which is really, I mean, you think with
Well,
the,
that's in the proposed
Yeah.
preliminary. It won't be a deficit when we finish.
Yeah.
with just a small amount in a $38 million budget, it's really not.
When did he start seeing funny?
Well, he's got some humor to him.
Oh, okay, how about 9 o'clock Saturday morning?
We can't, Saturday's out. We got the,
Busy recycling.
and we're
center.
busy, John and I are busy recycling, and you gotta get dressed to go to, no?
11
You gotta
o'clock
get
is
dressed to go to the hub.
11 o'clock is the hub grand opening.
Well, okay, what's a good time? Somebody come up with an idea.
What time's your event get over, Anthony? Recycling?
Well, we probably have 1 o'clock probably.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, they say it's from 9 to 12.
But you'll not get them out there on time.
we gotta leave and go to the hub at 11 anyway, so how long does the hub last,
About-
Steve?
About an hour, hour and a half tops.
2 o'clock Saturday afternoon?
We'll probably need a day and a half, don't we?
Well, that would do. How about then 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon?
Then we may have to come back one night during the
Yeah,
week.
just come back one night, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, can you
Yeah,
be
I think
available?
it'll go pretty fast.
Can you be available?
Oh, yeah, I'll be here.
Everybody else?
Yeah.
is that okay? Supposed to be crummy weather this weekend, we did, just cold, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will need a motion to meet Saturday at 2 o'clock for the purpose.
You wanna just continue our meeting till when we do that?
You don't have it
It's
on
not on
the
the
agenda.
agenda.
No?
Yeah, I know.
We'll have to
Maybe a
call a
special meeting.
special meeting.
Well-
We'll just call a special meeting.
I would not care to continue this meeting, so, we will need a motion for a special
Yeah.
Saturday at 2 o'clock.
continue this meeting to discuss it, you just can't act on it. You can't act on it anyway without a public hearing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think special meeting, the same thing,
Yeah.
so, yeah, okay. Call the roll.
Commissioner Ritz?
Yay.
Commissioner Manella?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Mayor Butler?
Yay. Okay, now, is there anything else that we need to take up?
Need an executive session for personnel.
Brian, do I have anything?
You guys got anything in executive session?
I've got an announcement that before we go in, if you're ready for me to get one.
Yeah, well,
You haven't got to it yet,
well,
thought you
we'll
was
get
executive
to it.
session.
I'm done.
Okay, he's done, so.
but I just wanted to announce that, Wednesday at 1:30, Cemetery Department will be dedicating a memorial to the Lloyd McMichael family at Rose Hill Cemetery for their very generous donation. They designated strictly for the sole purpose of the beautification of Rose Hill Cemetery. Relatives of the McMichael family will be there, and I want to announce that any of them that weren't aware of this, the relatives are very, very welcome to attend. It's gonna be a very nice ceremony. We put together
And where will the ceremony be?
it will be at 1:30 at the Rose Hill Cemetery.
I know where in the cemetery.
Well, you hit the chapel and turn left and you'll.
Run right into it.
Yeah, you can't miss it. We've got a very nice, memorial.
What's that day, John?
In fact, you'll be there with, speaking, so I
Oh, I
will make sure that you know where to go.
What day is that?
That's Wednesday at 1:30.
Okay.
What's the date?
April
Anything
1st.
else, Tom?
No,
Next
it's-
Wednesday's April 1st, isn't it?
Well, no,
This Wednesday?
This week.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
Wednesday?
This week, yeah,
Oh.
this Wednesday.
Day after tomorrow.
Day after
The
tomorrow.
5th?
Yeah,
Holy moly.
really quick.
Yeah,
Nothing else?
nothing.
Okay, Doug?
No, I'm good.
Nothing. Okay. Yeah.
I wanted to remind everyone, especially the council, that our sister city will be arriving tomorrow at,
Sister city from Japan,
yes,
Tanitown, Candytown.
yes, and I'll hand out an agenda of what we're going to be doing. But on Thursday at 3:00, we have a special, this is the 50-year anniversary of our sister city, agreement. And Thursday at the Civic Center, we're doing a tree planting, except they'll be planted, it's a Japanese, tree, and they're gonna be planted in pots because we live in the wrong zone to plant it outside. So we're going to, have the tree in the 5 places. One will be in City Hall, one in the library, one with, Marion Unit 2 Administration Building, and one in the Chamber Office. So that's the partners of our sister city agreement.
Do we know, do we have to raise the roof in case these trees grow?
No, actually, they're going to be, they're a fragrant olive tree, and they have a very nice, natural fragrance. And one of those is for Alice also, Anthony. And,
Does that
no,
have?
it actually stays, it's a fairly small tree.
Yeah. Okay, then somebody's gonna have to, feed it some water, as I take it.
You got it. It's
I
under,
got just the
it's under
person.
streets and cemetery, I think.
We'll,
I got
look at
just the
your-
person. Allison in the water department, she is a horticulturist. That's her, she loves it. So
Well,
we'll put her in charge of that tree.
that's the tree at the, city hall, okay. All right, anything else now? Okay, then we need to go to executive session.
For personnel.
Steve, you got anything? You've been sitting back there awful quiet.
That's me, executive session.
Okay. We will go into executive session for personnel matter. Need a motion.
So moved. Second.
Call roll.
Commissioner Ritz?
Yay.
Commissioner Manella?
Yay.
Commissioner